Magickal Amethyst Moonflower here, and today I'm going to be talking about my magical book collection slash book of shadows that I have made. I was going to talk about my crystal collection today, but the weather is not very nice outside. It's rainy and it's gloomy, so we're going to do books and save crystals for a sunnier day. So before I show you my books, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that I use while I'm making my books or writing in my books. The first one here is my mechanical pencil, if I could focus. And, I don't know why it won't focus. But this is my Twist Ease number 7 Pentel mechanical pencil, and I really love this pencil. It works really nicely, and it's a lot better than some of the cheaper mechanical pencils that you can use, so I really like that. And then I also use micron pens. Why won't it focus? And I have a number 5, a number 3, and 1. These, I really highly recommend using micron pens. They're really good. They don't smudge. They don't bleed through the paper. And the number 1 and number 3 are really good for that fine detail when doing like art and stuff like that. And my all-time favorite one here is my Precision V5 rolling ball pen. And I've been using this pen for almost a decade now. I mean, I almost can't even write unless I have one of these pens beside me. So this is really nice because it's flowy and it's smooth, just like my handwriting. It just goes. I mean, there's a little bit of smearing, a little bit of bleeding, but it doesn't really bother me as much. It's not too bad, and I really love this pen. And another thing that I always have with me is my whiteout, because if you're journaling in pen or anything like that, you're bound to make spelling mistakes or grammar errors or whatever. So it's always good to have some whiteout on hand. So as you can see, I have a pretty good journal collection here. But I'm going to move these out of the way. And we'll get started on the first one. And my first one here, is my very first book of shadows that I made. And I made this when I was about 17, 18. It's a plain black sketchbook, drawing book, spiral bound, less than $10 at Walmart. And I got some Michael's paper art, and I made the cover here. And I tied some string on it I don't know what I was doing at the time, but I got that on there. And there's not a whole lot to really look at in this book. This is the inside cover here, because it's all pretty like basic information that you can find pretty available in most areas online or in books and stuff like that. But I do have a sentimental value for me, this book does, because it is my very first book of shadows. I did fill it up all the way to the back, and a lot of the information in this book I gathered while I was borrowing books from the library or from friends that are into this sort of thing, and I can't accredit it to any author or anything because it's been so long. I don't really remember where I got the information from. But it's all just straight writing. There's not really any art pictures or anything to look at. Just straight writing all the way through. Just some information about the elements and rituals and circles and correspondences and things of that nature. So it's pretty basic, like I said, but it is really pretty. I think I was going for kind of like a practical magic type of feel to it with the brown and beige colors. And that's my first Book of Shadows. And after I did that one, I kind of felt like there was a lot more that needed to be done. I was ready to write a lot more substantial information. I was moving on in my craft, and I wanted to have a real Book of Shadows that I could work with on my altar in my sacred space. So I got this basic black fake leather. It's really soft and smooth, standard size journal. Also, I'm pretty sure I got this one from Walmart as well. And this one is 400 pages thick, front to back, which my first one was only 153. So this is more than double the pages of my first one. And this is my Book of Shadows Volume 2. And it says Starlight's Book of Shadows. Starlight was like my first craft name or spiritual name, but I moved out of that name pretty quickly and went and found Amethyst Moonflower is my true spiritual name. But I didn't cover that up or change it because I kind of feel like it's a tribute to my journey and where I come from. And here in the book is this sun, moon, and star picture that I drew that says, "Do as thee will, thou shalt not harm none." And also, not a whole lot of drawing in this book, just a lot of writing. And I got different table of contents for every section. So section 1 in the beginning is, pretty much your basic information like Creed of the Witch and the traditions, styles of witchcraft, and a little bit of earth, air, fire, and water, that type of stuff in the beginning. And then section 2 is circles and ceremonies, which, pretty much is all about casting circles and different circles are different ceremonies and rituals that you can perform. And then I have section 3. And this one's all correspondences. Section 4, spell crafting. Section 5 is astrology and star magic. Section 7, spirit guides and ghosts. And section 6 is... Section 7 is spirit guides and ghosts. Section 6 is, what is it? Can't read it. Psychic powers and divination. So they're tabbed so I can get to them easily. And this is my working book. This is the one that I use in circle at my altar in my sacred space. And I really love this book. I put a lot of time and energy. It took me about a year to fill it. So this one I'm really proud of, and I'll always keep this one. And the next thing that I have, or my next section of journals, these 3 books here, this one started out as another Book of Shadows version, but that I stopped doing that. And now these are all just magical journals where I pretty much just take notes, and if I have an idea, I'll write it down, or if I find something interesting, I'll jot it in here. Any ideas or anything magical related that's just kind of like a note or a jot, I put it in here, and it just helps me get my head clear and to focus and think. And it's really nice because I don't have to worry about what it's going to look like before I put it in my other Book of Shadows. So if I can refer to it later before making it look nice in my real Book of Shadows. So these are just sketchy journals. And then I have these 3 journals here. This is my To the Moon and Back journal here, which is actually pretty self-explanatory. This one's all about working with the moon and the divine feminine and my journey with that. record my how the moon affects my menstrual cycle and all sorts of stuff like that. This one's pretty personal, so I won't be opening it, but that's what this one is for. This journal here is a journal that my husband bought me for Christmas a couple of years ago. It's very pretty. It's real leather, and it's got this nice Celtic tree design in it, and it has this nice, I'm pretty sure it's like a dyed howlite or turquoise stone here in the center, and it's really pretty. I love it. And this is a custom bookmark that I got made for me while I was at the fair one year. And this book I use for recording magical stuff that I've done. I record like the moon calendar for the year. This is 2018 calendar. I have stuff about myself and my moon chart, and I have like journal entries for certain rituals that I've done or where I'm at in my spirituality, brainstorming for my business, and tarot spreads and things like that. So that's what this one is for. And then this journal, I picked up because I saw it and it just screamed herbal grimoire. That's what it made me think of, and that's what I use it for. It's got this really pretty bird and flower picture on the front that I really like, and this nice magnetic clip. And inside is where I'm doing all of my correspondences for all the different herbs and stuff like that, and how to use them. And this is a picture of my hopefully someday dream garden that I hope to have. And I'm still working on the correspondences for the herbs. It's taking a lot of time. I usually do like a page or two and then I stop because I get bored, but I'm still working on it. And that's what this is going to be for. Keeping track of my garden and things like that. And this is when I started really getting into making books. Now, as much as I like writing in books and I like making things and being artistic, this is my first attempt at creating a junk journal. And if you want to know how to make a junk journal, there's lots of videos on YouTube of people that tell you, different techniques and styles of junk journals if you want to know how to make them. But this one I made out of an old book that I got from my grandmother, and I took all the original pages out and put them to the side and created this beautiful junk journal. And I'm not quite done with it yet. I still got more work that I want to do to it. I want it to be one that's really fat, like the ones that you see where they're like this. But I'm not quite there yet. I still have a lot more scrapbooking that I have to do, but here's a card that I made. And it's got some of the original story inside of it. I kept all the original pages because I thought they would be nice to use for a project like this. And then here's another card tucked in this side. And see, some of these pictures are from a Wiccan calendar that I bought a few years back that's expired. So I'm using a lot of the images and stuff, the pages out of that. Envelopes, coffee paper, just working on putting all those layers. Oh, sorry, I bumped the camera. All those layers and little pockets and cards and stuff that you would find in a junk journal. And it's all really neat and pretty. And this is a page that I was planning on watercoloring and stuff like that. And I had so much fun making this, and I haven't put any information in it yet, and I don't know if I am going to put any information in it. This is kind of more like an art project book, but it is witchy related. It's kind of like a witch garden style theme book, and I thought it would be really neat to share this with you. And another book that I made is this one. And this is also another book of shadows. Excuse me, take a drink. that I'm working on, and I handmade this one, but this one isn't meant to replace any Book of Shadows. This one is also kind of more of an art project that I'm working on as well along the way. Now, I made the cover out of an old hospital blanket fabric, and I painted it with acrylic paint, and it gives it this really nice, soft texture, but it's still kind of stiff. And right here, it was, I cut the fabric a little short, and I didn't like it, so I actually stitched more fabric on and painted it as well to kind of, so that it would go all the way across the way that I wanted it to. And I painted a keyhole to hold my secrets. And then this is the back. And purple, blue, green, those are my favorite colors besides black. And you open it up with these ribbons. And then it says Book of Shadows by Amethyst Moonflower. And the front and back cover both have these nice little pockets that I put on there, which come in handy for holding notes. And these pages are coffee dyed and hand stitched. And each section has a specific meaning. And like I said, this is just an art project. More like it, just kind of trying to create a certain aesthetic, eye-pleasing style. I don't really know what kind of style you would call it, because I haven't quite thought of a name yet, but it kind of, sorry, the page is stuck together here. It kind of makes me think of, like The Secret Garden or something like that. That's what it makes me think of. It's just got this very nice, soft color palette to it. Real floral. And I use a lot of watercolor and calligraphy dip ink to write in it and to draw the designs and stuff like that. It just kind of gives it that nice almost antique feel to it. Real pastel. Here's the elements: air, fire, water, earth, and spirit. And then it goes into the magical tools, which we have the wand, the athame, chalice, and pentacle, and balsam, cauldron, bowline, mortar and pestle, the candle, censer and incense, bell, and herbs and oils, and then the a little bit more here on the back. And then this is the this one's all about the moon. And this one I haven't completed yet. I still have to fill this section out, but this has got all the names of the monthly moons in here that I have to still fill out, and then a little bit on the zodiac through the moon. And then this is all about circle casting. Casting the circle. Cakes and wine. I think this is really pretty, this picture that I drew here. And I did use stamps and stuff as well. And opening the circle. And then here is a short version for casting a circle as well, if you don't want to do the long version. And then this is the full moon SBAT, all about the full moon. And this page, I wrote on this pretty paper, and as nice as it looks, it's really hard to read. And so I'm probably going to have to go over this with a darker marker so that you can read it. And then Charge of the Goddess, which I put on a fold out. And then, okay, and then I have Blessed Water, Self-Love, healing, house blessing, ritual bath, protection amulet, and manifestation. And then in this one, this is the new moon espat section. This page, Charge of the Goddess, or Charge of the Crone. And then here is going to be more spells and rituals. And then that's all that I have so far. I still have more to do. But that's this Book of Shadows. And I really enjoy making this one. This one's really artistic, stylish, I think, more than any of the other ones. So this one's more for fun, as you would say. And there's that one. And then the last one, here, let me move this out of the way. Is this one. Oh my. Now this is my baby. This is the one that I'm currently putting a lot of energy into completing. This is my Book of Shadows Magickal Tome. This is my hand. This is the book. It is huge. It is like 5.5 inches thick. And currently it has about 700 pages in it. And I could still probably fit another inch worth of pages in here. So, but it's got black fake leather. It's wood. The cover and the spine are wood, not that flimsy stuff. Real wood. And I did do the string technique here, where I pasted it to the wood to hold it on, and wrapped it in the leather. I have the triple moon on it, and I love it. This is the big one. I always dreamed of having a big, massive, ancient looking Book of Shadows, something that you could just hand down, and it would be handed down through the family. And so I made myself one. And it is so big that I can't even use regular printer paper, so I can't do that unless I, glue it on top of the other paper. But this paper is like 11 by 15 or something like that, so it's very large paper. And this is the inside of the cover here. This pretty magical looking fabric here. This is fabric, not paper. And I just love the way it looks. And this is post bound. And I use 4 posts here to hold this in, not 3. 4 is holding it in. And it is exposed right here because when I originally made it, I pulled the fabric too tight and it wouldn't let the front cover fold down because it was so tight. So I had to cut it, and I'm got to get around to gluing another piece of fabric in here to hide that, because it's ugly right now, but it will be covered up eventually. And this is the flap that holds the posts in, but it's not screwed in currently because I'm working on the pages. And here, this is the front cover. And this isn't my original design. I did see this online, but I redrew it myself and painted it and glued it onto this really pretty blue and gold constellation star paper. So this is the first page that you see when you open it up, and I think it really speaks to my personal style and beliefs, which is pretty Celtic, and that's how I like it. And so that's the front page. And then here is the second cover page, which is the Grand Book of Shadows of Amethyst Moonflower, which the Grand Book of Shadows is more referring to the book itself, not so much as me, but the book. But I think I did a really good job here with the Old English handwriting that. It looks really pretty. And then here is a book blessing, which that's my blood, and then that's my magical sister's blood there, but it's okay. And this Celtic knot border took me, Lord, probably 10 hours to draw out. But I think it's really good. It turned out very nice, very intricate knot work that I did there, but I think that it adds to the protection of this page, because honestly, knot work is all about making that bind, and I feel like drawing those intricate knots on here adds to the bind of the book. And then we go right into the Wiccan Reed here, which also I took a lot of time on this border here, and I was going to do a double page, but I used alcohol marker and it leaked through, so I had to do it one page at a time. And I did do the full Wiccan Reed, so it is about 3 pages long, but that's okay. And harm none, do what ye will. But after this page, I didn't use the alcohol markers anymore because I wanted to be able to double page. So, but here we have the 13 Wiccan principles, front and back. This is the Code of Chivalry, front and back. And these are the 7 Hermetic principles. And I do follow these, and I do believe in them, in case you're wondering. That's why I have them in here. This is the Hermetic Pyramid. To know, to will, to dare. And because I buy these pages blank, I have to take my time and like rule the lines on here so that I can write straight. I mean, I don't have to, but because I do like my words to be nice and straight, I do take the time to draw the lines on there, which can be tedious, but it's almost like a meditation sometimes. Color correspondences. On the back we have numerology. And more about angel numbers here. And then we go into the elemental section, which earth, air, fire, and water. These are not done, but I'm not sure how I want to finish them yet. I got the symbols here in the center, which I really like, but I want to add more art to it, but I also want to write more. So these pages are not complete. They're pretty basic at the moment, but they're looking pretty nice so far. And then after the elements, we move into my pagan, Wicca, and witchcraft section, which is not a full and complete list, but it is a pretty substantial list of pretty basic categories. We have paganism, witchcraft, traditional witchcraft, and green witchcraft. And then kitchen witchcraft, Wicca, eclectic Wicca, Dianic Wicca, fairy Wicca, draconic Wicca, Celtic, Druidism, Norse, Kemetism, Hellenism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Hoodoo, Voodoo, Native American, and Shamanism. And then we have types of magic, where I give a brief description of what is magic and how it works. And then we have high magic versus low magic, ceremonial magic, folk magic, sympathetic magic, contagious magic, symbolic magic, and color magic, candle magic, elemental magic, crystal and gemstone magic, talisman and amulets, lamp magic, knot magic, herbal magic, poppet magic, glamour magic, protection magic, banishing magic, binding magic, sex, weather, psychic, and divination magic. So that's a pretty big section as well. And then here is the witch's alphabet, which this one I did print off the computer because I didn't really feel like drawing this one out by hand, and I kind of liked this picture. I thought it looked nice. I might draw something here on the border, or I don't know, but for now that's the way this one is. And then behind that we have The Witch's Rune, which is a beautiful poem by I don't know who, but I really like it. And then we have another poem called The Solitary Witch, which is another pretty poem. And then this is a cover. And then we move into The Triple Goddess excuse me, I had to take a drink. These pages are pretty thick because they're, what do you call it? Multi or mixed media paper. So you can't, I got it that way so I could write and draw on it and use different textures. So we have the Triple Goddess here, and then it goes into the Maiden Goddess where it writes about who she is. And then I have the Charge of the Star Goddess. And then we have the Mother Goddess. And then Charge of the Goddess. And then I'm pretty sure I'm going to put a picture here, because on the back we have the Crone Goddess. And then Charge of the Crone. And then we have the Phases of the Moon. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust the camera here. So we got the Phases of the Moon here. And then it goes into the Western moon calendar. So for each month, I drew a picture to kind of symbolize what it's saying. So the January cold moon, I drew a candle by the window. Snow moon, I drew a snowflake. So each moon has its own image. And I think I did a pretty good job there drawing the pictures. Moon, milk moon, rose moon, then we have thunder moon, grain moon, harvest moon, blood moon, the raven skull there. And then the frost moon and the long nights moon. And then it goes into the Celtic tree calendar. So, you know, each moon has a different tree. And so I drew the leaf and the branch to go with each one of those moons. And that was fun. Takes a lot of time to draw up all those leaves and things. And then we go into the Horned God, and it goes into his story and who he is. And then we have the Charge of the God. And then the story, this is the story of the Wheel of the Year and his journey of life, death, and rebirth. And here is a picture that I need to finish coloring. I'm gotta finish coloring this. I'll get to it. But this is my my version of the Wheel of the Year, if you can see here. It's gonna look really good when it's all colored in. And then this is supposed to be the section about each one of the Sabbats, which I have not finished yet either, because I always have a hang up on the sabots. I mean, there's only 8 of them, but they seem to take me forever. I only got like 1 of them filled out, which is Samhain here. All the other ones need worked on. And then we go into circle casting. So we have circle, lore, and etiquette. You always need etiquette. And then we have creating sacred space, which we have indoor and outdoor sacred spaces. Basic altar setup. I did draw this picture here, but I didn't really care for it, and I started to erase it, so I'm going to redraw this picture here. And then we go into blessing your sacred space, consecrating sacred space, and dedicating your sacred space. And then the different types of altars that you can have, ritual components, and how a ritual would break down. And this is my way of looking at it. I mean, it's a pretty standard Wiccan ritual setup, but I have adjusted certain things, and I have rewritten the circle and how it works to way that I like it to go. Not everybody does it the same way I do, which is fine, but it works for me and how I like to do it. So planning a ritual and thinking about all those, reaving, which is preparing, and then ground and center. Energy raising, I haven't written about yet. I need to finish that. This is a pre-ceremonial blessing that I have written up myself. And then circle casting, cakes and wine, and opening the circle. And then I have the new moon SBAT here. I think that I did a really good job on the Old English up there. It looks really pretty. So new moon, a manifestation spell, new moon meditation, and then we have full moon. Also really like how I did that there. And then a release spell, and then a full moon meditation. And then drawing down the moon. And then this is Samhain. My Samhain ritual here. This one's based off the ancestors. And so far, Samhain's the only Sabbath that I have written out. I have to do all the other ones as well. And then we move on to the chakras, which I wrote about here. This is a page that's about the chakras, which is pretty standard information. And here's the picture that I drew, if it would focus in on it. I think she's pretty. And then it goes into all the separate chakras. We have the root chakra, root chakra, sacral chakra, it's on the back, and then the solar plexus chakra, heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye chakra, and the crown chakra, and I don't know why that was like that. And then here we have Aries. This is where we go into the zodiac section. Now, I designed it so that when it opens up, the picture and the information would be side by side. So it kind of, you know, it's supposed to look like this. And the artwork, I don't really know the name of the artist, but I found this artwork online and I printed it off. And I used the same artist for each sign. So, I mean, and I could have did my own art, which I was going to, but I found these pictures And I mean, her work is just so pretty to me. I love her design, her style, and the watercolor and everything like that. So I decided to go ahead and use her art, and I am going to do more of my own collaging and maybe add more information like that here in the blank area. But for now, that's what I have. So we have Aries and Taurus, which once again, there's that picture. And then we have Gemini. I was doing it this way. Let's keep doing it the way I was doing it. And then this is Cancer. This is Leo. Very beautiful. I love that. I mean, come on. And then here's your Virgo. Here is your Libra. Scorpio. Sagittarius. Capricorn. Aquarius. And Pisces, which is me. I'm a Pisces. So we got all the zodiacs, and then it moves into the planets. So we have Sun, and I also printed off pictures of all the planets offline too, and I did it in the realistic, the actual photographs of them. So I thought that would be neat. But here's the Sun, the Moon, Mercury. Isn't Mercury so pretty? I love Mercury. Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, and Pluto. Even though Pluto's been demoted, he is still used in astrology, so he's definitely included here. And then it moves on into the houses, which I have not finished filling out yet, but I'm on my way to doing that. And then it goes on into my personal star chart. This is my star chart, in case anybody's wondering. Excuse me, that's what it looks like. And then I went through and interpreted the entire chart. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of all my interpretation of my chart. And then it goes into, this is my cover page for tree, plant, and herb correspondences here. And I haven't gotten very far into this section, but I am working on it. But I like that, I'm going for more of that scrapbooky feel. Once again, you know, for the herbs, but I have lavender and rosemary, sage and chamomile, and then I have lemongrass and mint, and that's as far as I've gotten so far with the plants. And the last page that I'm going to show you is the cover page for my crystals and gemstone section, which has nothing yet. So that is as far as I have gotten on my big Book of Shadows, my tome. I hope you all enjoyed looking at where I'm at and my progress, and when I get a little bit farther and more stuff is complete, I might do a part 2 specifically for the Big Book of Shadows when I have more to show you. But until then, I hope you all had a wonderful time looking at all my books. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. I love reading everything that you guys leave me, so feel free to do that, and keep your don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button, because I am coming out with more videos. Crystals are coming up soon, and a few other topics that I have to talk about. So I just stay in touch, talk to me, I'll talk back, and I love you all. Brightest blessings. Namaste.